Hey, have you ever wondered how the invention of tanks came about? Well, in this video, you are about to find out. The concept of an armored vehicle can be seen throughout history. Even in the Middle Age times, concepts like the siege tower and the battering ram. Even later, inventors like Leonardo da Vinci and James Cohen proposed ideas for armored vehicles. James Cohen later got a patent for his idea of an armed vehicle, which was based on a steam tractor. However, it wasn't until the 20th century that armored fighting vehicles became practical, thanks to the traction engine and the automobile. The first self-propelled armored vehicle was built in 1900 in England when John Fowler and his company armored one of their steam traction engines for hauling supplies in the South African Boer War. In 1915, Winston Churchill and the British military decided that the use of protective vehicles would result in less soldiers used. So, this is when the Landship Committee was developed. The Landship Committee created the blueprints of giant weaponized landboats. These things were known as landships. It was decided that these landships were way ridiculously big, and plans for a smaller alternate emerged. The first completed tank prototype was developed, and it was dubbed Little Willie. It is also the oldest surviving tank in the world, as it was a prototype never actually used in battle. You can even visit it at the Tank Museum. Yes, this is a real place in Bovington, England. After the prototype was made, over 150 of these armored vehicles were made. The production was done undercover, so the British military needed a way to hide the plans. In order to do this, the British military decided to hide the idea by calling these machines tanks, stating that these tanks were just water-carrying vehicles. As World War I grew hazardous, Britain recruited help from the US. Britain supplied the US with many resources, one being the tank. When the US started developing their own tanks, they started with copying French light tanks. Light tanks were tanks that could hold no more than 2 soldiers, and they were very tiny. With the US isolationist policy, American tanks weren't effectively established until World War II. In World War II, the US mass-produced tanks to counter Germany and gain more military strength as they wanted to remain a world power. The US later designed tons of tanks and has been responsible for some of the most successful tank designs. No bias.
I hit it.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be like this guy. By the way, the person filming is a 5-year-old, my little sister Mila. So good job, Mila.